Hello, everybody. If you know me, you know that I am not for clickbaiting. So, what I'm going to share with you here is literally what awakens the human being. With that, I'm not saying that the way I'm going to say it is the way in which people awaken, but rather the core of the message or the investigation that we're going to do is what awakens in any possible way the human being. So, usually we hear this within a context that is filled with metaphysical and spiritual concepts. And I don't want to use any of those here because I want it to be completely naked in its bare bone and flesh of what it is. And this is the investigation of reality. You see, because for anybody who is interested in awakening, we whether consciously or unconsciously, we're seeking to understand reality for what it is. So that's where we start. And we're going to start with an investigation of this reality because that's what we know. We want to know, what is this? Now, don't be fooled by the simplicity of this practice, recognition, investigation, whatever you want to call it. Don't be fooled by the simplicity of this process, because in this simplicity is where you will find all the results that you're looking for, whether you are very knowledgeable about spiritual and metaphysical concepts, or if you know nothing about it and you're just interested in simply meditating, for example. So in the best way I can describe this process of investigating reality starts with the pure knowledge that I exist, I am, and there is a world out there. That is something that is undeniable for any human experience. There is a self, which I am, and then there is a world that seems to be. Now, because I'm interested in knowing what the world is, and I know that I belong to the world, I want to investigate myself first. This is why we point to the self, to you, to go inwards, right? And so we go inwards in an investigation. Forget about meditation or anything for now. All you're interested is in knowing the experience of being alive, of being. And so in this process, you begin to see that there is a possibility to see the world is, and I'm not making it. I'm not doing anything. The world is happening. That's a fact. That's an axiom. The world is happening, and I am not doing anything about it. We're going to do a reduction of what we think we are in the first step. And so we acknowledge that and we say the world is. And then I look at my body, what I think is my body, and I say the same thing. My body is, and I'm not doing anything. I'm not beating my heart consciously. I'm not circulating my blood. I'm not regulating my hormones and so on. And so the body is, just like the world. I simply experience the world, and I experience my body. And this is where most people are located at, in the doer of things, that which controls the body and the mind. And so let's go into investigating that. We're going to find that, well, I am not either controlling my thoughts, nor am I, of course, producing them. They just simply come. You see, all we're doing is an investigation of reality as it is. And so we begin to notice this. Everybody is capable of doing this. It doesn't require anything specific in their mind or training. This is a simple investigation of reality as it is. And so we realize that there is no activity that I do that produces thoughts. Thoughts are simply coming and going. They're arising and falling away. And suddenly I noticed that I am aware of thoughts, body, and world. I am simply aware of things that are coming and going, that are doing their own thing. They're simply existing, and at the same time, they go away. Everything is, as it were, vibrating or moving. There is an agitation, which we can call experience. I am aware of experience, and experience comes in both physical and mental modulations. And at this point, I keep saying, I am aware of my body, I am aware of the world, I am aware. That's the only thing I can know for sure. And all the time, anything that I experience, I am aware of that. And so I am, in awareness, starts to become one. I am is the awareness of, I know that I am because I am aware of something. And I am also aware of myself, whatever that is, which is not in the mind and it's not in the body. And so at this point, we have arrived at meditation. You see, because you have realized that you're not creating the world, you're not creating your body, and you're not creating the mind. And so meditation is simply the awareness of experience. It's a completely detached self or point of observation of experience, without any interest or disinterest into what's happening, just abiding in that pure awareness that we have recognized that we truly are. And so now the investigation of the self led us to the recognition of what I essentially am: awareness of experience. And again, this is not something esoteric or very deep. We have done it in only 7 minutes or so. That is meditation. However, you will notice that something will start to claim identity within yourself, and that's what we call the ego. See, that's great. This is a great achievement, because now you have noticed that there is something else that wants to live within you and claim ownership of identity. That's what we call the separate self. And you will notice that it will, just like any other experience, the ego comes into existence within ourselves and goes away into ourselves too. So we recognize that the ego is something that is coming and going. You see, this will bring what we call healing in any psychoanalysis, in any psychotherapy. This is healing, is recognizing that you are not all those voices that are coming and claiming ownership of your identity. You are the awareness of the experience, and that experience is you. See, this is the important part. This is the crucial point, to realize that you are the awareness of that experience. Now, when you begin to abide in this meditative state, something that we call peace starts to shine. It's like it overflows your being, your state of being. And that peace is, of course, equanimous with whatever's happening. And you allow that to be your experience, just yourself. And in that moment, you're able to shine light of truth, of you, of awareness, into the processes of the mind. And this goes into the different modalities that can be used for healing and creating coherence, or what I like to call harmonizing the mind, because the mind is simply confused with a wrong identity. And you see how we have done a thorough investigation into the nature of our being, And that allows us to recognize, one, the illusory self that is the ego, and two, bring out the capacity for healing that which the ego, which is a confused self, has created in our experiential continuum, which is the life that we have. And this is all you need to awaken to who you truly are. Everything else that comes out of this knowledge is what creates the multiplicity of mythologies, religions, philosophical inquiries, and all sorts of activities that we do with our minds to try to explain reality. But you see, this cannot be explained, but only experienced. And so that's why we have a plethora, and we will continue to develop many ways in which to describe reality. But none of those descriptions actually equate to this investigation, which is something that we need to undertake ourselves and follow through. Like I said, don't be fooled by the simplicity of this practice or of this recognition, which is really what it is, because this is the process that will continue to not just awaken you in the beginning, but produce an expansion of this awakening. I like to say that enlightenment is the most simple thing we can do, which is this. We just did the process of enlightenment. But it is up to ourselves to pay attention to that which we discovered today and allow that light to illuminate the rest of our lives. And this is why I keep saying, don't be fooled by the simplicity of this, because once you begin to practice this daily, as much as you can, it doesn't have to be only in meditation. We arrive at meditation simply by doing this. Well, now it's just a matter of applying it in our everyday activity, noticing that I am the awareness of experience. I am the awareness of experience. This will create a complete and very tangible distance between your thoughts and yourself. Whereas before, the thoughts used to be yourself and used to dominate and create the reactivity in you. Now you are aware of the thoughts and you start to create more space for reactivity. Everything that we look for stems out of this simple recognition. And you see, from this knowledge, now we can go and find things that are in congruency with this understanding. And that's where we find resonance with different teachings and different ways of explaining this, practices, and so on. But you know that you have this knowledge within yourself now, and it will pervade anything that you do. This is why the investigation of the self is the first and most important thing. Always go back to this direct experience of knowing who you are fundamentally, and allow this, again, very simple practice or recognition to permeate everything that you do. Now it is up to you to decide if you want to continue to illuminate your life from this understanding, so it pervades everything that you do. But that's all you need. It is very simple, and everything is contained within this. The rest that we know about metaphysics, spirituality, and any other study of reality, no matter where we look at it, how we look at it, contains this simple knowledge. This is the absolute truth, the absolute knowledge of who we truly are. Pure awareness. We cannot go beyond that. That's all I wanted to share today, and as usual, I hope this is helpful, because I am interested only in practical things that you can apply now, and they have an impact that is everlasting. This is perhaps the most important thing that I will ever say, and if anything, I'll just find different iterations in which to speak about the same thing, which is really what I do in this channel. Once you find resonance with things, then you start seeing within those things the same knowledge that you have understood within yourself. But this is the core. This is the only thing that matters, and everything else is a derivation out of this. Again, I hope this was helpful. Thank you for watching or listening to this, and I'll see you in the next video.